So we're about halfway through the first grouping of Caleb and Sophia videos at this point. We're on lesson 15 now. It's called Pay Attention at the Meetings. And if you guys remember, I did this one long ago. I didn't watch my old video before doing this one for two main reasons. One, I can't stand to hear my own voice. Although since I'm forced to for editing purposes, I'm learning to tolerate it. And two, I think it'll be interesting to see how my position has evolved over the years. One thing I can say with certainty is that I've mellowed out a lot since I did this video last. I'm a lot less aggressive. I'm a lot more knowledgeable about religions and cults and mind control and manipulation. Anyways, let's take a look at this video. Let's get into it.
So we'll listen together to our first subheading, Spiritual Restoration, Why It Matters. Let's have the reading of paragraph 9.
Consider the historical perspective. Christians back in the first century enjoyed many spiritual blessings. Jesus and the apostles foretold that true worship would be corrupted and lost.
Okay, so in this clip we see their attention spans are starting to wane. Understandably so. How old are they supposed to be here? 8 and 10? One major complaint I hear from a lot of ex-witnesses is not just how much work they make you do, with all the meetings and studying and the knocking on doors and everything else, but also how late the meetings were. I remember in my hall, the Wednesday night meetings ended at 9:15. We'd hang out for 15 minutes and talk, as any good Jehovah's Witness would do, and then we'd head home. Probably wouldn't get home until 9:45. On a school night, for a kid, this wasn't a unique experience either. This is pretty much what every kid had to put up with. So in an ideal world, if they start getting ready for bed immediately, brushing their teeth and getting their pajamas on and hanging up their suit and all that junk, they might get to bed by 10:15. That's if they managed to get their homework done before the meeting. Otherwise, they were staying up even later. And personally, I had to get up at 6 a.m. You might think less than 8 hours is enough for a kid, but it isn't. Kids are supposed to sleep a lot more than adults are. When they hit 6 years old, they're supposed to be sleeping 9 to 11 hours per night, depending on the kid. So if I didn't get in bed by 8:30, really, I was losing sleep that I needed. And Jehovah's Witnesses kept all of us out until 10 o'clock at night. That's what we see happening in this clip. Sophia is falling asleep because it's way past her bedtime, and this talk is boring as sin, and her parents are chastising her for it. It's a bodily function. What do you want? Obviously, she doesn't want to fall asleep. It's not always voluntary. And look at Caleb. He's probably 8. Unlike a lot of other churches, Jehovah's Witnesses don't have a youth program. Like I said, it's boring as sin. I didn't even really pay attention to or understand what they were talking about on stage until I hit like 13. The talks were just geared toward adults. So what do you want kids to do? Sit there bored to tears, staring at this guy talking for like 5 hours a week, having no idea what he's saying? And if your attention span drifts for a split second, you get shredded by your parents. Give me a break. There's nothing okay about their expectations here. Okay, let's continue.
So kids, what did you learn at meeting tonight?
No sleeping at the meeting. And no playing at the meeting.
I find it strange that they say, what did you learn at meeting tonight? Instead of, what did you learn at the meeting tonight? They're saying it like, what did you learn at church tonight? I grew up saying the meeting, not meeting. And then Caleb and Sophia continue on to call it the meeting. Under what circumstances do you use different versions? I don't know, it's just strange. Okay, continuing.
So kids, what did you learn at meeting tonight?
No sleeping at the meeting. And no playing at the meeting.
Good. Why should we pay attention at the meetings? Imagine if Noah didn't pay attention when Jehovah explained how to build the ark.
Not what happened, Dad.
I'm going to ignore the fact that I consider it an extremist belief to believe that Noah's Ark is a real, literal story. Let's focus on Jehovah's Witnesses here. Now, I understand what they're doing. I understand that they're saying that listening to the guy on stage is equally as important as when Noah listened to God explain how to build the ark. But if a non-corporeal voice started speaking to me, I'd take it a little bit more seriously than some jagoff on stage. But what they're saying here is a common thread through basically everything they put out. It's this urgent, immediate thing. You must listen. You must follow the instructions. If you don't, then you'll die. It's absolutely paramount. They'll do anything to get people to rejoin, because it's for their own good. No matter how hard they have to work, no matter how much time and effort is involved, they'll do it, because the end is right over the horizon. We can practically see it from here. It's an extreme level of sustained paranoia. This feeling of fear and concern that is going to happen any 5 minutes now affects every major decision they make, especially when it comes to whether or not to have kids, or whether or not to go to college, or any other decision like that. It's a shame to see them prepping little kids to carry the same mindset around with them. The Watchtower Society is pretty unified in what they're saying to each congregation. So you could go to any congregation in the US, possibly even the world, and you'd probably hear the same thing, or something very, very similar, in each one, on any given night. Aside from local needs talks, which are specially tailored talks for their specific area, where they address something with which they feel their area is having trouble. Like they'll give a local needs talk on watching R-rated movies, or violent video games, or drinking alcohol in moderation, or whatever else. Anyways, point is that this stuff is pretty unified throughout the religion. For the most part, with some exceptions, what you hear in one Kingdom Hall is probably going to be said in another Kingdom Hall too. Now check this clip out.
Okay, first things first, guys. Are you okay? Everybody's okay? No injuries? Okay, I need everybody to try to stay calm. Let's remember our family drills. That was a really big earthquake, and more than likely, we're going to have some pretty severe aftershocks. So right now what we need to do is I need to go turn off the gas to the house. I need everybody to go get their go bags. Cass, can you grab mine too? Great, let's go grab those, let's go get that done, and let's meet back here.
And the power's out, the light switch isn't even working. I'm trying to get a hold of Daddy, but I can't get a hold of him. You know what, we haven't had an emergency drill since we lived at the last house and we were in a different service group. I don't even know where to meet. Oh, the line's busy. Why is it so busy? Okay, he texted me. He said, get our go bags ready just in case we need them. That his car's blocked in, he has to walk home. He doesn't know how long it'll be. Okay, we're okay too. I don't know where the go bags are. Do you know where they are? Do you know where the go bags are?
Mine might be in my closet. I gotta go dig for it.
Okay, I'll look for mine too.
So with this clip, we see two Jehovah's Witness families. The Great Tribulation has just struck. One is a good Jehovah's Witness family who's planned out what to do when the Great Tribulation starts. They have go bags, which, by the way, are sold by a company affiliated with the Watchtower Society. I don't think the Watchtower Society themselves sell them. I'm not 100% sure on that. If you're curious, a link to buy the go bags that Jehovah's Witnesses buy is in the description. Some other companies also sell copies of the Jehovah's Witnesses Bibles with your name embossed on the front, or briefcases and service bags and all kinds of other Jehovah's Witness paraphernalia. But like I said, I don't think it's sold directly by the Watchtower Society. Mostly just companies that are run by individual Jehovah's Witnesses. Now let's look at what the two families do next.
Okay, nice job. All right, now we need to text Rusty, let him know where we are, how we're doing, and that we're all safe.
You know, during the quake, my phone broke and it had all of my numbers in it.
No, that's okay. We have our list. And by the way, thank you for grabbing all the go bags. Do we have the list?
I do, and I found Woody's go bag also, so I grabbed that. And yep, here's the list.
Excellent. Okay, great. So looking at everything we've got here, nice job. It looks like we've got everything that we need for the next 3 days. I was checking my phone when I turned off the gas. I don't have any cell service. Shai, do you have any service? Okay, all right, that's all right.
I find it strange that in the prepared family, the male head of the household is there and taking the lead. And in the unprepared family, the male head of the household is nowhere to be found. The bumbling, clumsy females are unprepared and have no idea what to do. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but this demonstration was designed by the Watchtower Society, so I really wouldn't put it past them to go that deep. The bottom line is that they live in this perpetual state of paranoia. Every perceived insult leaves them wondering if the governing body is going to raid their homes and jail them, because that's one of the signs of the end. That and earthquakes, famines, war, blah blah blah. But all that stuff has been going on since the dawn of time, so I'm honestly just waiting for them to call it one of these days. I'm waiting for them to say, we're in the Great Tribulation. We're going into lockdown mode. We aren't inviting people to get baptized anymore. Now we're just knocking on doors to tell them that they're gonna die. As fascinating as it would be to see that happen, it would be depressing as hell, and I would genuinely fear for my mother's life as a member of the organization at that point. As if I don't already. Okay, let's continue with the Caleb and Sophia video.
That's not what happened, Dad.
You are right. He paid attention, and it saved his life. Paying attention at the meetings can help save your life.
At Genesis 6:22, we read, "And Noah did according to all that God had commanded him. He did just so."
That's the end of that one. I think the thing that upsets me the most about that is the fact that they have no consideration for children or the fact that they need to sleep, or that they have short attention spans. It just comes with the territory. Shaming them for being incapable of sitting in one position for 2 hours straight while listening to some dude talk is just wrong. Not to mention the paranoia they plant in these kids while they're there. I was watching the John Cedars channel, aka Lloyd Evans, and he was talking about how when he was little, his parents faked a phone call from the elders, saying that the Great Tribulation started and they were supposed to meet up with the other Jehovah's Witnesses. Take only what they absolutely needed. I don't remember what it was Lloyd took. I think he said he took the book of Revelation as something of a field guide, because that book prophesied how the end was gonna go. If you want to find out, you guys can check out his channel. A link to that video is in the description. But he said he feels like he kind of went through Armageddon because his parents faked him out like that. He was ready to see some horrific stuff. You could view my parents as the clumsy women in the Kingdom Hall demonstration from earlier. We weren't the best Jehovah's Witnesses, but we were fully devoted. Anyways, that's some serious brainwashing. Somebody was talking to me recently about the use of the word cult and how it had a certain connotation linked to it. They hear the word and they think hooded figures practicing blood rituals in the middle of the night. That isn't what I ever thought it was when I heard that word. What I thought when hearing that word was the Heaven's Gate group. People who act and look like crazed lunatics. Bizarre beliefs. You're never sure if they're on the verge of committing mass suicide or not. And even under that definition, I still feel like Jehovah's Witnesses fit. They might not look like crazed lunatics all the time, but the fact that they're living in paranoia 24/7, the fact that they have go bags packed and ready to take the moment the government turns on them, the fact that they don't want their members making friends with non-members, the fact that they don't want their members talking to disfellowshipped people, or that they don't want them watching certain types of TV, or listening to or reading anything critical of the organization, all plays into the cult-like mentality they force on their members. Don't get me wrong, I know the use of the word cult too much wears it out. I know every time I use it, it waters it down for every other group I'd consider a cult. That's why I'm not afraid to say when I don't think something is a cult. But I don't even hesitate to use the word cult in their case. Okay, that's all I've got for you. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. If you like what I do, consider going there and supporting me. YouTube is really volatile. You can never tell if you're going to make enough to live off of with it from month to month, or if you're going to make anything at all, or if your channel's even going to exist the next day. Patreon gives me the stability I need to continue doing this full time. Also check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. And check out my podcast, where I'm reading the Jehovah's Witnesses' new book, Pure Worship of Jehovah. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.